Morning, guys. Afternoon, I guess.
Hi, Mr. Scott.
Hello, how are you guys doing? Hopefully well?
Good, yeah.
Nice. Okay, a little behind schedule. I'm going to give 5 minutes for people to get in, get ready to go. Just humans talk to each other, you know, have some social interaction. I'll see you in a minute. All right, folks, today, talked about the groove weld yesterday. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to work on the groove weld. Hey, Louise, how's it going? Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm trying out this mic. Should work. I've never welded with a mic, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't light on fire because this little puffball here is kind of flammable. We'll see what happens. First step with the groove weld is preparing your steel right. So you need a bevel plate. Well, you need 2 bevel plates actually, but we're going to talk about 1 for now. What I've done is when I'm cutting these angles at about 30 to 35 degrees. I haven't really figured out what I like yet, so I've been playing with 30 and 35. And what I've been doing is putting a small land on here. Hold on, so I'm going to drop that blinds for this window. I'm kind of exposed here. You can see I got this nice shine off my scalp. That's a little better. But yeah, steel, hard to see, but I'm preparing what's called a land. See if we can get in there. You can kind of see it, not very well. Anyways, there's a flat spot I filed on the edge of this. So it's not entirely pointy. It is got a little bit of a land. That's 1/16 of an inch. So 1/2 of an eighth, pretty small. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this to both plates, which I've already done. I have slightly prepared for today, not fully, but slightly. And I have, yeah, a couple other ones prepared. So we're going to tack these together. God, this thing needs to figure its life out. This focus, terrible. But we're going to put these together. We're going to go through the tacking process. So the land on these plates. Let's go over the information on the steel and the fit up. So 2 plates, 35-degree bevels, 1/16 of an inch land, 1/8 root opening. That's the gap between your 2 plates. We're going to take a 1/8 rod, jam it between these 2 pieces, tack them together so we have that exact perfect 1/8. Fit up, very important. We want it flat, we want it level. We don't want our plates offset a little bit, you know, funky. Obviously this is exaggerated, but if we don't start square level, we're not going to have a good weld no matter how good of a welder we are. Bad fit ups make good welders. Good welders should have great fit ups. So learning to work with kind of poor fit up is something that we have to do in the field. It's not something I want to teach here. Here I want to teach you guys to weld with good fit ups. That way when you get out there, you can learn to tackle that other stuff at another day. But I want to get a good view. I want you guys to be good welders before you leave this place. We're going to work on nice fit ups right now. So behind me, I've got the table, and I'm going to push this back a little bit so you guys can see it more. I do have a chunk of C-channel on here. This table's pretty gross as far as spatter and stuff, and I wasn't going to grind it all off. That just wastes a bunch of time. I will eventually, or if someone really upsets me, then I'll maybe have them do it when they come back. So yeah, there's that. But what I'm going to do is set these down. I'm going to overhang these slightly over the edge of this. That is so when I put the tack in, I don't tack it to this. I'm going to get my welder set up. I'm going to tack it with gas metal arc welding, since we need to put the root in with GMAW. we're gonna tack it with GMAW. And we're just gonna put little bridge tacks in across the ends. I'll show you guys that once we get the welder set up. So for the tacking on this, I'm just running standard settings, which is going to be kind of the baseline settings I like to use, 200 or 20 volts and 275. This is going to give me a nice strong tack. And what we'll do is we'll tack this up. Hopefully you guys can see. I don't think I'm going to throw the lens on for the tacking process, but I am going to throw the lens on for the welding process. Don't think I have the mic connected. Oh, let's check. It says I'm on. This is probably internet. So I'm in the back of my shop. Internet isn't great back here, especially for streaming. So if it's going to be a lot of an issue, I am going to maybe move to a different booth near the front of the class. Yeah, we could check that. So Deanna's trying to school me on settings here, which is good because, I don't know, I'm new to this. People liked the video this morning and didn't have an issue with it, but we'll see how it goes. So what I'm going to try is we're going to tack this together, and then we'll do some welding. And if it's good, cool. If it's not, we'll turn it into a learning experience and go from there, because I might fail. You guys will fail, but my goal is to get you guys to learn. So failing is the best teacher I've ever had. If you get it right the first time, you don't really learn a whole lot. You just get lucky. The next few times, you fix your little mistakes that you learn about, whether it be gun angle, manipulation, stuff like that. You take steps to correct it. So that is what I like, and that's how I operate. Learning by failure is probably one of the best things for me. So I'm gonna get this. And I tackle my special guest from yesterday is back, and she's serenading me with old-timey music in the background. So she's having a good time, though. That's good. Okay, so got the gloves, ourselves set up. See how this works as far as the tacking goes. We got the plate spaced out, got the rod between them. I'm gonna tack right across the end here. Then I'll flip it, tack the other side, and we'll move on after that. There's one tack for you, bridge tack. I put a tack on one side, then a tack on the other, and then I joined the two. I didn't just try and get them to join in one shot. Then I'm gonna open the gap up on that side. We'll put the rod in there, and holy, all right, there we go. We'll fit that up. We want to make sure it's flat though, so if there's high-low between the plates, let's take care of that. All right, so gap's good. Plates are 1/8 of an inch apart. That's what we want. I'll put a nice little tack on there, and I'll start our welding. So one downside to doing it this way, sometimes this rod gets stuck. You really got to work out to get it out of there. Not a big deal though. That one popped out pretty easy, so that was nice. But you know that 1/8 gap, nice and even the whole way. No high-low on the back side. Slightest little amount right here actually. And we're gonna take care of that. We're gonna put it on the anvil, give it a smack, and get those nice and even. All right, so we got that squared up, looking good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about settings now. So for this, if we're running high wire speed, which turns into high amperage and higher voltage, we're gonna burn right through this. We got a 1/16 land, which is pretty small. So we're gonna turn those settings down. We're gonna go down to 16.5 volts and about 180 inches a minute wire speed. We're gonna try that. I might have to adjust the wire speed up or down a little bit, but this is all gonna be personal preference, and the numbers I'm giving you are just baseline numbers for starting. So we're gonna do that now. But also we're gonna talk about inductance. Inductance is something that helps you get the weld started. And these machines are normally set to about 40%. We're gonna turn inductance all the way down to 0. That's gonna stop us from burning through that plate as soon as we fire the welder up. And when we do these routes, I always have 0 inductance. I'm pushing this route forward with a slight smiley face kind of action going on. So if you're going vertical, I would just be a little kind of left, right, left, right. We're gonna do that on this plate to put the root in, and that's so we're not burning through right away. We're gonna move up to one side of it. It's a little bit thicker there. It's gonna cool the puddle down. We're gonna slide over the other side. It's gonna cool that puddle down, and that puddle's gonna follow our wire each time we move across that groove. We're not doing a big side to side at all. We're gonna be right down in the bottom of that groove. And when I'm done, the weld shouldn't be any wider than 3/16 to 1/4 of an inch, but it should be down through and have a nice bit of reinforcement on the backside. So we'll set up the welder, 16.5 volts, 180 inches a minute start, and 0 inductance. So I'm gonna do that right now. And the inductance is going to be located right here under this panel. So we're going to dial 0. Okay. I'm watching it in camera. I want to make sure I did it. There's too many things that are backwards and forwards. A 35-degree bevel. 1/16 land, and 1/8 root opening. I've got all the information written on the front board, so if you want to copy that down, you can do that. So what we're going to do is we are going to arrange this, and we're going to tack it on the arm. That way, when we do this, we're not welding into the table. So I'm going to get this piece out of the way. Yeah, that's going to work best for me. And you guys, so you guys can see. This looks nice. One or two. Contact is right here on the end of the arm. So with this, I will be able to work right across there, no problem. And I'm actually using this T handle to tighten things down with as a guide for my hand as I'm doing it. So kind of repurposing some of the stuff we have here. So I am going to try and get this closer to the camera. Still can't see it very well, but it's going to be better than nothing. We're going to do the green screen here, guys. I'm going to cover up the lens with that dissected welding helmet. We'll see how that works today with the mic. Hopefully a little better. Yeah, hold this. You can't even reach this. Come on. Okay, so we got it set up. We're going to push this weld. So what that means is we're going to start at the back and work forward, pushing the weld. We're not going to start here and pull back. Some people do it that way. I like to start here and push it. So I made sure things are pretty good. We're going to give it a shot here, see how it turns out. Hopefully I don't fail too horribly. So I'm going to get down to the bottom here, and I'm just going to go a little tiny bit of side to side, kind of smiley face action, and we're going to see how it works. So here we go. Seems to be a fairly good setting. I like that. I went a bit slow, ended up popping through, but kind of getting what we want. So I'm going to turn the wire down just a little bit, and we'll try again. The 170. So let's try it again. I'm hoping. Oh yeah, we got through. We got through. That's not bad at all. Okay, let's get the green screen up so you guys can see it. We're gonna let this just figure itself out with the settings. Yeah, so that turned out pretty well actually. Once we get the right angle, you can see there's just a little bit of reinforcement. Reinforcement means it's sticking out past the space plate, just a little bit. So there is a fairly decent looking weld there actually. I'm surprised it did so well. I intended to practice this earlier so I didn't fail for you guys, and I didn't get a chance to, but with the right settings and good fit up, we were able to be successful. Would this pass a weld inspection? No. The reason for that is because I did that stop start and I didn't tie it in properly, and I've got a little bit of a hole there. I also didn't quite tie into my very end here of my tack, but overall the body in the middle of the weld was very successful. You guys should be able to do the same thing with the right settings, a little bit of coaching. I'm sure I can get you guys to do that. Now, since that went well first try, we're going to move on to the fill and the cap. So we're doing this in the flat position. So we're going to put it back in there. That's what the top side looks like. So you guys can see, I didn't go very far up my walls of my bevel. I held it right down in the bottom, a little bit of side-to-side movement. The weld is about 1/4 inch wide, which is kind of what I expected it to be, but overall it went fairly well. So that's a little bit of a win there, which is cool. And what we're going to do now is we're going to switch this machine to flux core, because we need to do the fill and the cap with flux core. Right now we got no cap, so we're going to put that on there. So there will be some cap after. So. So for this setting, that should be what we need to do as far as welding. So there's this Martin says, can't hear you. So I'm going to start welding at the front of the class. And that hopefully can improve our pickup a little bit as far as Wi-Fi. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this weld with a bit of a backhand pull. So instead of the push, I'm actually going to start pulling across it this way now, because it's easier while pulling backhand. You can kind of forward push a weave, but I don't like to when you have slag on the wire, such as this, right? It's a flux core, it's going to have slag. So with these settings, should be pretty good. We're going to try and do a fill pass, bring it up just below flush, so almost up to the top, almost full. Then we'll clean it up nice, we'll have a look, and then we should be able to finish the thing off with a nice weave, and that should be the entirety of that weld. So this one we just have to remember, Fcaw has a longer stroke, so we have to keep that in mind. Also, we're not going to go crazy with the angle. We're going to put about 15, maybe 20 degrees on there. That's since we get a nice pushback, it's going to burn itself in nicely. And hopefully, by the end of this, we should have a nice root, a nice fill, and a nice cap, and have a decent weld to show you guys at the end. So let's give this a shot. I'm going to throw that screen on there again for you, and we will see what happens. All right, I got lucky once. Can I get lucky twice? All right, so that's a little spicy, but back in the flat position. So we're going to cool this down, see how it looks, and then we'll throw the cap on there. Well, that was a bit of a fail. So, a little bit. So, that there is pretty spicy, so I'm going to put a glove on. Overall, turned out quite smooth. It's definitely not bad looking once we get this camera back in the game here. What I love about Fcaw is it's hot, it fills things in, it lays in there really nice, and this camera's not figuring itself out. So I might take some pictures. We'll see. Let's give it another second here. It looks like it's starting to come around, but so what we got is a fairly flat weld, not quite full though. You see there's an edge right here. So we're going to fill that in, and but no major inconsistencies going through here. It is what we want in a fill pass. It's almost up to the top. It's grabbing both sides nice. It's nice and flat. So we're just going to start filling at the back, get just to these edges, let it kind of come up a little proud. We want just a tiny bit of reinforcement, but not a whole lot. We don't want, a grade big wide weld, because that can be considered a defect. A wide weld can put a lot of extra stress in a weld joint because it shrinks when it cools. And if I welded a whole bunch on here and we measured this afterwards, this would not be flat. These ends would be lifted slightly from that weld shrinking. So that is something we want. But not bad overall. It looks okay. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to pop it back on here. and I'll throw the green screen back down. We'll finish it up. We'll have a look at the finished product. All right. Here. All right, we'll finish this up. So same process, we'll jump right back in, fill it up right to the edge, and we're good to go. Maybe. Spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy. So unfortunately with this, I think there's going to be some porosity. I thought I saw a little bit underneath flag cap when I was working. We will find out in just a moment. But what we did is we laid it in there, a little bit of side-to-side action. Helps move that puddle and get into our weld. So as you can see that there, I just gave it a little wiggle as I was dragging the wire, just a little side to side across that joint to make sure I was getting both sides. Wanted to fill it up nicely so I shouldn't have any undercut on the edges. And well, it's starting to lift a little bit. So the nice thing about these is when you weld them nicely, the slag caps pop right off. And got a bit of spatter here, which is holding my slag cap in place. But this will just come off with a little bit of a tap. And it's not bad. We're going to cool this down and we're going to have a look at it. So the overall, pretty smooth, pretty decent. Not a whole lot of imperfections. There is some slag. You can see that slag stuck to the plate. You can kind of see those slight little spheroids of slag. There's a word of the day for you. If you're increasing the size of your lexicon, which is a fancy word for vocabulary, we can throw in spheroid, which is a circular ball. And as you can see, I've got that here, a bunch of that. But overall, the weld isn't too bad. You see there's a few ripples in it. That's in that side-to-side motion, but not too wide, not too high, no big holes. Things are looking pretty decent overall, which I'm happy about because I totally expected to fail a few times for you guys. I guess it's all coming back, which is good. But I do have a test for you guys today. There's another announcement, so hold on. So yeah, there is a test today. It is, I gotta put it up. I just gotta release it for you. Kind of important, lots of information in today's things. We gotta pay attention. And it's just good news, or not good news, good practice to employ everything I have in the quiz in your daily life as far as welding and stuff like that. It's just good practices in general. So I'll open up that to you guys in just a moment. Overall, do we think the sound quality from yesterday was any better? Or is today better than yesterday? Just throw that in the chat, please. The mic should be helping. But if it's not, I'm going to take a look at my settings, which Deanna mentioned earlier. And then I'm also going to try moving my location to the front of the class. But it was better than yesterday. All right, so this is awesome. Every day we're making a slight improvement, right? We're not looking for perfection from day one, right? This is a lot of you guys when it comes to welding, you do one, you're like, oh, I'm no good at this, it sucks, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if we use this as an example, my video a few days ago was terrible, it was garbage. A little better yesterday, audio was crap. Today audio is a little better. As long as we make those steps, we can apply that to anything in life. As long as we're making those steps, we're doing well, we're getting where we want. And this isn't going to happen overnight. It's taken me a long time to get this down. But, you know, with my tips and tricks, when I get you back in the class, I can hopefully show you guys some shortcuts, kind of take some steepness off that learning curve, letting my failures be your guide. So that's what I think a good teacher should do, and that's how I kind of practice. I like to use my personal experiences and my failures, which there are a lot of them. I've failed a whole bunch of times, and it's never a bad thing. So it all depends. You can look at failure as something terrible, or you can frame it in a positive way, learn things from it, and move on. There's a quote. It says, I didn't fail 1,000 times. It says, I learned 1,000 ways not to do it, which is, I think, a great way of looking at all these situations, especially when you have high expectations of yourself and you don't quite reach them, or you don't get anywhere near them. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's Friday. Get some rest this weekend. I hope you guys and girls have a great weekend. I will pop that quiz open, and we will make things happen here. It's a little longer than I wanted. Sorry, I didn't mean to give you a big one on a Friday, but like I said, we got lots of important stuff going on, and we need to just assess the information, make sure everyone's here. I see I got 9 people in the chat, which is awesome. I got 10 because Deanna's right here. Want to say hi?
Oh, no, I don't.
No, I flipped it down so she can actually fit in the screen this time. Yeah, so it's great. Thank you much, folks. If you haven't, please drop your name in the chat, and then we will have ourselves a good weekend. So I got a P5 after this. So I got to prep for that. Thank you much. I'm gonna kill the recording, kill the mic, kill the camera, but I will be on for about the next 15 minutes. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a message, and yeah, we'll make it happen. Have a great weekend, folks, and stay healthy.